Please.
Look, my background is in economic and financial sociology. I'm not a sociologist of scandals. And I'm working with the subject. I will explain you why I'm working in this particular subject nowadays. So, my last book was on financialization of Brazilian contemporary society. And in this particular realm of financialization, we see all the time scandals. Scandals is something which happens in a day-by-day basis. So you can say that in economic sociology, scandals are a typical mechanism for putting the financial realm in line with the whole society. So something of functionalist, okay? And by controlling excesses and shaping the new institutional environments. At the end of the day, new constraints trigger new opportunities for new financial products. It's something in the model, you know. And I have a question, a general question on those two books, which is, how is possible the coexistence between a left-wing government, the Brazilian, in this time, and the financial sphere in the globalized world? Is it possible, this thing, how it works? The two books have works in different realms of the same reality. Well, I'm trying. So. Sociology of the scandals is a kind of byproduct of that I have been working for the past 2 years. That's it. That's why I'm in this subject. Well, as we Brazilians know very well, we always have had scandals in Brazil. For instance, you can see this book on this book of Isabel Lustosa on scandals in the very beginning of Brazilian, just the independence of Brazil. Okay? And the international literature say scandals, mostly in history than in sociology, they say scandals are a quasi-automatic byproduct of the expansion of democracy. Expanding the democracy, you get scandals. Byproduct. You can't afford not having scandals. So, in a gentle way, scandals are popular language enabling the inclusion of new electors in the political sphere, in addition to new electors. So, we are entering the realm of press. Scandals starting in press. Okay? So, press as a business, and democracy gave way to new possibilities to the press as a business, the journalism as a career for college dropouts, so something which happens in all latitudes. The journalism is a kind of ladder for college dropouts. I quote the French literature on that, from French history, Christophe Charles, Georges Noiriel, Dominique Califat, and above all for lawyers and lawyers to be. And what's the difference? Nowadays in Brazil, scandals became something of alt propaganda. Scandals take over all the political and press space. You can see this in contemporary Brazil. Well, in this book, I try to address these two questions. Why this new development and why now? Okay. So, I'm beginning the explanation with some clues from contemporary Brazilian history. Okay? at first we quoting, we are seeing a kind of cultural war, Brazilian style after democratization, for the last 30 years at least. I can say about this publishing of this book from Gianotti, a Brazilian philosopher, scripted a new classificatory systems based on this Occidental cultural history, which is all Brazilians among you know this high clergy against low clergy, alto clero versus baixo clero. And in the explanation for this scandal making in contemporary Brazil begins with how these new classificatory systems took place in Brazilian society in the last 30 years. Okay, the book was written by Gianotti, which is a close to Fernando Henrique Cardoso. And they set a kind of new cultural power after the democratization. Well, how it works in Brazil, mainly in Brazilian university. The new way say what kind of university? Scientometrical and hierarchical one, against the other one for the, you know very well, those systems, against this university for the people. International science against science for specific needs of Brazilian people. University for the reproduction of Brazilian elite against university for the democratization of society. You know, all of us, which is in Brazilian university, you see this kind of opposed all the time. Well, how to use this classificatory system? Is the one which we ourselves identify. We identify ourselves. So it's a trick, a very difficult question for have some kind of objectivation. Okay. One of the first problems in this book is really trying to objectify this nexus of concepts, and after that its impact inside and outside academia. In this outside will be politics, professions, and so on. Well, how to handle this really from the within, but required from without situation. It's the huge challenging question for the book. The book is in progress. It's not finished, so you can help me. Well, a partial but unused convergence. So the press, a dominant cultural power after democratization, meaning after 1985, okay, and this high clergy using the press in their fight against the low clergy. I can bring two episodes on that fight. The one, all you probably the older than in the room know very well. This episode called Improdutivos da USP, meaning a list denouncing professor from Universidade de São Paulo without published academic production, something that a spark that put fire in Brazilian university in the 80s. The second episode is something different from an inner perspective, but I will say it's something which fits together with the first one. The surge of public opinion surveys as a systematic source of news and setting a national political agenda. The Brazilian poll institutes, Ibope and Datafolha, and the press choosing the real problem of the country, the expert, and thus shaping the public discourse.
Roberto, for the introductivos da USP, who produced the list of professors, denouncing the professors? Who did that? Who will come to?
Let's see.
No, don't worry, please don't.
Who? Director. They say it's not so not a clear blame, but the most probable format was the director. In the fight, in this turf battle, say, well, how it was. It was as a turf battle within the academy, okay? And the interesting thing, it set a path for the leading secretary, high clergy, as a field use the press to denounce their opponents. All the time we see this in Brazil. It's a kind of way to fight. And in the second. In the second episode, we see this shoes of experts without the academic label. Okay, well, how the press works in this realm, finding evidence to prove the scandal, forming a Foucauldian regime de vérité, regime of truth. You say so. Yeah. Well, scandals are fed to the press. The role of the press is escalate the scandal or try to trigger another one. In Brazilian nowadays, let's say, fight within and without the press, we say journalists are trying to search the batom da cueca de Lula. Lipstick in the underwear in order to prove in order to prove the irrefutable proof of guilty of Lula and his fellow José Dirceu. Kind of, why this? This is the motor for scandals. It's a kind of internal motor. What I'm trying to say, it's not something from which can be explained by the whole society. It's something of inner in the journalism. It's the way to advance the careers. How to advance a career in journalism nowadays in Brazil, by this way, by finding this batom na cueca. Okay, finding this irrefutable proof of the guilt of the officer in partidos in workers' party. So it's a machine that turns by and for itself. That's the main question in the book. Well, how we arrived to this situation now is how it became this how
Just to clarify, Roberto,
okay.
Your argument is that the press is driving the obsession with scandals in Brazil.
Yes,
Okay.
as always.
And the
But
press
nowadays
is
we have something new, and I'm trying to explain what's new.
Okay, about the
Okay?
press specifically.
About the press and about the scandals.
Okay.
Okay, the book is on why now.
The last
Okay,
3 years.
yeah, it's why now. Well, we have this Cardoso presidency. For the president, for the most of Brazilian opinion, Cardoso was the brightest president we ever had. are described by the Brazilian press. It's something we can see in the press. We can objectify this. It's not something of.
Can you many
It's
languages?
it's not just gossip. Okay.
Can you many languages? He knew many languages.
Many languages and so on and so on.
You
But
said
not,
Brazil abroad.
we can quote.
Speaking
Look,
French,
we can
Portuguese.
quote this. We can quote this. Quote and count. Okay. In a lexical analysis. Okay. It's not bullshit. Great. But after that, in 20 on two, we saw Lula gaining the election. Why that? How was that possible? Okay. And in the book, I try to give some clues about that. Okay. Which is the arrival of low clergy in politics and in the cultural realm, and the struggle on the displacement or standing of traditional political and cultural people in the Workers' Party, politicians, in the federal government, and the wave of newcomers in the university, both faculty and students. And academics. You have something in this cultural realm which explains a lot of things in this configuration. Okay, I'm talking about the sudden spread of affirmative action, the expansion of the range of federal university system, not just as community college, but trying to be real universities delivering also graduated degrees. And as a result, we are seeing a huge change in the morphology of professions. This is, in my view, the main question, this change in the morphology of professions. Okay, especially those in the cultural realm. How that undermine the source of traditional cultural capital, and unwilling shot against the traditional hierarchies, the one that our class system is based on. Okay, so something of serious. These actions in the educational realm changing the game. So, at the beginning of Lula's presidency, he got some support from part of Brazilian high clergy. So it was a very interesting thing how it was possible. It was possible because of something that happened in the Cardoso's period, in my explanation. What happened in Cardoso's power? Cardoso was, and his entourage, they came to the politics from the cultural, from the university. They used it in the university, or in the political realm, though their cultural capital. And after that, gaining the political power, political capital in the political field, they try to use this against their opponents in the cultural realm. So, you Brazilians, the Brazilians among you, remember the dinosaurs, remember the Parque Jurássico, and all those blaming systems that Cardoso and his entourage triggered against their opponent in the Brazilian cultural scene. And that, in my view, was something that made a loss in cultural capital of Cardoso and his entourage. So, not to be done. This kind of weapon was not the weapon suitable to the use in cultural in cultural struggles. This political power in cultural struggles is forbidden. I'm working in the framework of the sociology of Bourdieu. So for this particular sociology, it's a kind of evidence. You can't do this. You can't use your political capital in the cultural realm or something like that. The explanation I'm trying to deliver is based on this particular sociology. We can't do that. We can't use the political capital in the cultural realm. If you do that, our political capital and our cultural capital will vanish. Okay. So, but in the beginning of Lula's term, we saw a very well done support for his politics from part of this high clergy. Okay. So, but the beginning, the first wave of the scandals, the first wave was the first one was Mensalão 2114, and reversed this high clergy support for and start to put the things in the traditional order. Okay, and the Brazilians among us may remember the silêncio dos intelectuais time, a very difficult time in Brazilian culture, history about this. All those which supported Cardoso sort out from became mute. You remember that. And the government was beginning to lose its shield against scandal.
The Workers' Party there, or the government?
The Workers' Party. First the Workers' Party, and then the government in general. Okay, you can see that it's a matter. You can count this. Okay, and without an effective opposition from central government, and with no high clergy people standing with the PT, the Workers' Party, the social space of scandals became a field I'm working this particular sociology, theory of sociology. Okay, field as in the Bourdieusian way, a field of power, and not a field of arts or field of religion. A social space in which actors from the political realm, typically heirs from political dynasties, gather others from the judiciary, new judges, new federal marshals, and new prosecutors, okay, as well as mainstream media. Okay? Well, normally, a field as a field of power is a kind of ephemeral configuration, but it became stable when the speed and the rhythm of each one of those spaces match with the others. I'm talking about a book from Bourdieu and another I took this from Bourdieu and another French sociologist named Michel Dodory. If and when the synchrony happens, it triggers real crisis for this in this sociological framework is this synchrony and among 3 or 4 normally different and with different speeds of fields. For instance, the field which were the judiciary, the press, and the political realm. Okay? If and when synchrony happens, it triggers the real crisis, real scandals, in the sense that something of important will change, and not just a pizza. The contemporary Brazilian word for the inconsequent public debate, not just a pizza. Pizza is is a word that Brazilian people use all the time in order to say something that, a wave that don't bring no. Okay? Well, should I say, it will finish in a pizza, meaning, don't worry, okay?
Everyone gets a piece of pizza and they enjoy it and forget.
So, mensalão appears to finish in a pizza, but I'm getting more serious than that. Okay? Each field had his own dynamics in that particular time, and Lula survived. I'm saying that now, Petrolão, the new scandal, which began in 2014, we saw this synchrony among judges, prosecutors, marshals, politicians, and the media. And we are facing a real crisis, which means Dilma is about to be impeached. I don't want this. I think it's a bad thing to happen. I'm completely against that. But the framework says we are very close to that. And why? Because of this synchrony among judges, prosecutors, marshals, politicians, and the media. Normally, something that seems to be a real crisis became a pizza. We are not facing a pizza here. Okay? It's not a pizza what I see now. And why it's not a pizza? Because of that, because of synchrony. Okay? They are working together in the same speed, with the same objectives. Okay? We are facing a real crisis. Not a pizza.
Why? Does this synchrony avoid any kind of guilt? Does this synchrony avoid any kind of guilt? I mean,
On the substance of the issue, that
right.
Look, it's independent of the real corruption, real threats. We are not talking about that. I don't believe in that. As a scientist, I don't believe in real corruption or real threats in political debates. You have just positions, okay? You have to have just versions of the reality. Of course, as a concerned citizen, is another thing, okay? But as a scientist, we can't dare to have opinion, okay?
So, if you compare this crisis with the privatization crisis, it's almost the same because we have the high clergy taking the Brazilian enterprise.
Wait are you?
You have this crisis.
No, I was just curious, the Polícia Federal, it seems to me, is a different institution than the press, and it's interesting how they will play out. I don't know if you'll get to the...
That's the real question. Okay, thank you for the question. The question is, the nerve of the situation is this. Nowadays, they are working in the same speed. And it's something of rare. It don't happen frequently.
They are looking for guilty parties. That's what they do. It's a criminal investigation. So if there's no guilt, it's just a Bourdieuian play of power. Guilt just goes out the door. There's no evidence. There's no, I mean, at some point you've got to get
they will find something. And this find will be, in this particular scenario, it will be classified as guilt.
But I mean, isn't the implication that there's always something that somebody's guilty about, but the only time that it ever rises to the surface is upon discourse?
That's what I'm hearing, yeah.
Yeah. So guilt is just assumed.
It's a political decision.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's guilty.
Maybe
You get more to present, I think, so we've already stopped.
I have some.
Well, I was just curious, if it was already in the discussion, or
No.
Okay,
If you still have.
so,
We're just anxious.
We're just feeling guilty.
well, we have this field of scandals in the sense of the sociology of Bourdieu. It produces people. This field produces people for fill the blanks. Okay? It's very difficult to stand against. Produces also meaning. And predict the scandal. It's predictable to some degree. It's easy to, in the sense which is it's easy to trigger a scandal. Okay? But it's unpredictable in the long run. In the long run, how to end this mess? I don't know. I'm trying to. Okay. Well, however, a sociological problem arises. Okay? We are talking about a cultural dispute, which angrily but apart cultural people. Okay? What about the spreading of this mythology to the outside of this particular world of cultural producers? Okay? Several issues settled in the realm of Brazilian elites went incredibly different in popular thought. Okay? This is the break for this kind. As measured by opinion polls. For instance, privatization and affirmative actions are best illustration. Okay? Elites are for privatization and against affirmative action. All Brazil, in all opinion polls. And thinking that the shared opinion in Brazilian elites, it's the opinion of the whole Brazilian people. It's a mistake. It's a huge mistake. Okay? And real popular opinion in Brazil is against, always was against privatization, and always was and is pro affirmative action. Okay? And we can see this right in the Latino Barometer, which is annually of the state of opinion in all Latin America. So it's amazing to see this. I participated in the first rounds of Brazilian of Latino Barometer, and the interesting thing is politicians, the press people, and academia just see in the Latino Barometer what they want to see. The other pages are completely neglected. Okay? It's amazing to see how it's used in Brazil. We had Latino Barometer is in the third editions from the beginning of the 90s, and all the time we see something of different from the established opinion, from the, I would say, the doxa. Okay? And what I talk about, why it means because we are facing a decoupling, and the coupling is a decoupling in the very space of meaning, in which the scandals are counteracted. We can counteract the scandals by from using this decoupling. Okay? Matter of fact, is how the scandals are really counteracted. Okay? Sociological, the interesting thing is how government supporters find those spaces. They participate. The trick thing is they participate of the elite space of meaning, and the discovery of the coupling is always unsystematic and almost random. Interesting thing of how, for instance, the thing of privatization arrived in the Brazilian debate. It was in the re-election of Lula against Alckmin. It was amazing how the subject of privatization arises in the debate. You can, I wrote about, we can talk if you want. Okay? And you can say, conversely, the symbolic system works by and for itself, the symbolic systems of high clergy and low clergy. The semantics is clear. All cultural people, okay, our president, Dilma included, are efficient, tamed, and called to the traditional order by the mnemonics of the Brazilian word, fazer a lição de casa, do the homework. If you do the homework, you are accepting your subordinate status. Okay? You did your homework? Bob?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm part of the system.
Okay. And a good example was in the discourse of Dilma just after her second confirmation. In the very after her election, she established her subordinated status, saying she will do the homework. Okay? For the anthropology among us, you know very well what it means, these mnemonics.
Now she opened the petroleum. Now she opened the pre-sal for the.
Yeah, but well, how to sort out from this bad configuration? I'm trying to do something about. Okay, disarming. How disarm this disarming normal. When disarming occurs, okay, disarming normally follows cataclysmic events such as wars and dictatorships. Not problem is how to disarm in a democratic environment. It's not easy to do that. It's more difficult to disarm this oppositional configuration in a democratic environment. How to do this art of finding minimal consensus. And in Brazilian, we can take some lines from the Brazilian contemporary history, as in the end of military dictatorship and all Brazilian people against the military framed as a too large and too much authoritarian states. And we saw a very interesting episode from for this convergence against the ruling people, which was the scandal das mordomias. All industrialists, bankers, social activists, all against the government in this scandal das mordomias in 1976. So, and for the last one was really how to produce this another cognitive convention like that. How it will be possible. How to sort out from this mess. And well, we just know the words. We don't know how to apply, how to put match this kind of path. The dark and the bright side of Brazilian public debate, we can say. We talk about jabuticabas. We talk about jabuticabas, how to say this grape tree, how to say it? We can translate jabuticabas.
No, it's a berry.
It's like a cherry.
It's a berry, blueberry, blackberry.
It's a particular kind of berry that exists only in Brazil. Seems to exist only in Brazil. It exists also in Argentina, also in Paraguay, also.
But maybe Brazil.
But we Brazilians thought it exists only in Brazil. Okay? And so something of, when you say jabuticabas, we are talking about something of bad that's supposed to happen only in Brazil and because of our bad genetics. Okay? As for instance, the bad thing was electing for a president a illiterate as Lula and his robberies party. Okay, so the real example for what is a jabuticaba in the Brazilian contemporary debate. But we have the other side, the bright side of the Brazilian political debate, which we call progressos civilizatórios. Civilizing progressive. What do you think about this translation? I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. Not citizenship.
Process, she's suggesting.
It's difficult
It's awkward.
and something of crucial. It's crucial to Brazilian contemporary debate. What is a progresso civilizatório? Progresso civilizatório is a kind of uncontested social or cultural innovation, as, for instance, the new legal status for domestic aid is a good example of that. Okay, someone who dares to be against this new legal status will be totally fired from in all the Brazilian media, all the internet, all the public debate. We can't dare to be against that, even if you have good reasons. So it was established as a progressive civilizatory. If you will find a good way something to be considered as a progressive civilizatory, we can sort out of this mess. We need to find a progressive civilizatory in order to sort out this particular and very bad situation in which you are immersed. Okay, that's it. Question.
I was going to make a comment before. It seems that the government may talk to you last week, I don't know. Or maybe they read Bourdieu. Because
I don't think so.
because what is happening right now is that there is a movement from the government party right now where, I don't know if you have followed that, but they fired Veja's editor last week. Eurípides, well, Roupéis, editora Abril for commercial things. So Eurípides Alcântara, the editor, the main editor of Veja, was dismissed last Friday, and the Ministry of Justice just fired yesterday. And so trying to control now the federal police and the press. So there is a movement maybe to change to
The synchrony.
the synchrony. That's something that, and Lula just said this weekend that he's going to, because now they are getting to Lula.
Okay.
They are getting to the baton now. And so they are, there is a reaction, a formal reaction on that. It's not just Dilma's impeachment.
I think you can say about this field, the scandals as a field. Once scandals became a field, it's very difficult to unplug.
Yeah.
Okay? It was in March. It was already in March. And being in March, meaning unplug is very difficult. Once the synchrony is established, it's very difficult to de-establish.
But I think they are trying to.
They're
Right.
trying, but I think it's very
We
difficult
hope
to do
so.
that.
But
It's possible, we hope so, but it's very sociologically, it's very difficult to do that.
Roberto, why don't we take 3 questions, just
Uh-huh.
so we get them all on the table? We have a bunch of hands, I think Bobby's hand, so can you say your name, because we all introduced ourselves, I don't think you were here.
Sure. Nadezhda Marquez. I'm a researcher here at Stanford. Thank you for your presentation. I have a couple questions. I was wondering if you could perhaps tell us a little bit about who decides what scandal will have traction. There are many kinds of examples. We have congressmen that have committed gender violence and other crimes, but those scandals don't get played in our media. So these are very specific scandals. What does it tell us about what our society is and what we're looking for? And also, you mentioned that scandals will be a byproduct of democracy. But at this point, it seems to me that it's more a challenge or an obstacle for democracy, because these are very selective scandals that get played by a monopoly or those that control the press, or now by the judiciary, right? The delação premiada chooses what scandals gets to be in the media or in the public debate. So finally, just adding all this, if you could say what your opinion is about the lei dos médios, a lei dos médios, if you think that that will help, or if it's anything to do about that.
Marco tem pressa.
Thank you. We got Barbara, and then we'll have one more question, so.
I think
Please.
Bob
Well,
was.
that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Barbara, then
There's
Bob.
time for all of us.
It's kind of a compliment for Nadezhda question, because you start telling us that the media, not only, now I think it's bigger talk about media because it's not only the press, that the scandal is kind of a survivor mechanism they use for building the careers of the journalists and this. But scandals can create and undercover realities, right? For example, we have the scandal of Marisa's boat. There is a small fishing boat, and we have an helicopter from Aécio, a friend of Aécio, but Aécio don't have friends, and Lula has friends, with 500 tons of cocaine. And this is not a scandal, it's a complement of this. And in order to enhance the power of who this is happening, because of course we are not innocent, and we know there are some corruption that needs to be undercover in this government, but there is also a power project in March here. And a second question I have is, on the other hand, we have the social media, especially the social, I don't know, nets, like Facebook and Twitter, where people are polarizing this discussion. We are creating the Judas, there is the Workers' Party, but there are many people that are putting Lula and Dilma as heroes, which are being kind of crucified by the media. And it's very strong, this movement also. And this kind of reinforce the struggle between two sides in Brazilian political scenario. So what do you think about this?
And just Bob, and then Rodrigo. No, give it back.
Poor Roberto.
No, Roberto, my two questions are questions regarding a clarification of your
Okay.
thinking. The first thing has to do with why now? Because that was the question you put at the beginning. And you mentioned a difference between the Mensalão and the situation now, and you mentioned that all the actors are together now, key actors, and they weren't together back during the Mensalão times. And I was wondering, why are they together now as opposed to the past? What has changed to make them act in concert today? And the second thing, you started off talking a lot about the academic community, but then the academic community kind of is left behind in terms of your presentation. You mentioned the academic commission committee was academic community was kind of uninvolved or kind of withdrew from the debates of Mensalao. And so I was curious how you see the academic community contributing or not contributing. What is their role now in terms of the present scandals? And I wonder if your differentiation between high clergy and low clergy, does that apply to the academic community also? Members of the academic community?
You can say some words about the judiciary system. Because I will give an example. When Daniel Dantas was arrested by a spin-off of privatization scandal, he stayed one night on jail. And Gilmar Mendes was the president of the Supremo. At the time released Daniel Dantas, Celso Pita, even burning the judiciary steps to the habeas corpus.
Look, thank you for all those questions. And look, I'm afraid I didn't get the message. Okay, problem is why Lula and not Cardoso and not Aécio? Because of this divide, high clergy against low clergy. We can press hurts low clergy. It's easier to hurt low clergy. It's more affordable to hurt low clergy. It's not that's why half of the book will be on how this classificatory system works. It works, how to say, it works building a hierarchical system in Brazilian society, based apparently in the cultural capital, but it's more tricky than that. Okay, so who decides what is a scandal? That's we are talking about a classificatory system, which put someone put someone more exposed to scandals than others. Okay, it's a consequence of the use of this particular classificatory system. It arrives. It's not by chance, not by random, but because of this of the functioning of this classificatory system. It's not by chance.
But the classificatory system determines who will be the actor. But I'm talking about the subject. So, for example, in the United States, a scandal usually has a sexual connotation or something about private life. In Brazil, at the moment, because we had our phase of private life scandals, is basically economic scandals. We're talking about corruption.
We can't afford. That is a kind of characteristic of all Latin peoples, Latin countries. In all Latin countries, we just see scandals that are something from the political or from the economic realm, never from the sexual realm.
That's not
sexual
correct.
Realm is something which arrives from in Anglo-Saxon.
But you remember that Lula was accused of asking his girlfriend to abort a child, and that was a big scandal that played politically. So we've been able to use sexual and private life scandals to manipulate politics.
The only exception. The international literature on scandals say that.
Like the Lex election, like the debate about
we Latins are moral, I'll say. Moral.
Was a big thing as well.
free-minded on sex.
Roberto,
Open-minded on sex.
Roberto, what I see is happening here is we have to unpack this notion, this concept of scandals. And it has to be more systematized. We're trying to measure, your focus is on scandals.
Problems, okay.
And so my.
Yep. So, the general thing is, scandals are, low clergy people is more how to say, exposed to scandals, not by chance. That's why how the thing works. And scandals, how to, the definition, we can't, in my view, what is this, the good definition for scandal? That thing don't exist. We can't define scandals in the positive way. We define scandals, which scandals is what people say is a scandal. It's a kind of how to say international definition. Okay, it's not. We can't say seeing something. This is a scandal. Scandal is what people say is a scandal. Okay, in my view, we have in the literature we see some tries, people trying to define scandals, but all those definitions, in my view, are faulty, are not sufficient, don't take the real thing. It's approximative.
Approximation.
It's always some kind of approximation. In my view, how to solve this problem is having a international definition. Okay, what's the scandal? Is what the field of scandals says is a scandal. Okay, it's not so, how to say, easy to swallow this kind of definition. But in my view, is the better we can have. Okay. So, about the delação premiada, lei dos meios,
Regulação da
regulation of look, I think we lost this opportunity. Nowadays we see the power of president nowadays, today, in Brazil, is so much is unsurmountable. In this moment, I think it's out of question. It will be something of good for the country, but I think it's not in the agenda. Okay, we can try to do that, but
You think it'd be good for the country?
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure.
Is that what you're saying?
People say that. I'm talking
Oh, okay.
not a concerned citizen, but I think. But in my framework, I think it's impossible to do that now. Even if it is worth or not, I don't know. Okay, but I think it's not in the agenda. Okay. On this stuff on academia, the system began in academia. Okay, it's the book from the book of Gianotti triggered this classificatory system in Brazil. 1986, very precise that.
Yeah, so how about the role now of the academy? How do you see the role
Now I think it became something of ourselves in the mirror and ask, am I someone from high clergy? Am I someone of low clergy? Okay, it's something of natural to us. 30 years after this, after the book, is something that's so normal. The students use this classificatory system. We use it all the time. Okay, something of natural became natural. It's not more something of from the cultural history, but something of inner. Okay.
You mean it's just accepted? Is that what-
Well, it's
Accept as natural.
And
It's
that's
also
what-
bureaucratized with CAPS and with the production
Yeah,
quotas.
yeah.
You can measure it now. You have a whole rating system. I published in Equalis 1, I published in Equalis 2, I published in Equalis Resume. It's a whole classificatory system that's in the actual.
Look,
academic structure.
but the interesting thing is the mnemonics. In my view, the interesting thing is the mnemonics. How it works. It works by the mnemonics. Okay? How? Faça a lição de casa. It triggers the remembering of all of how it works of this hierarchical system.
But you see, the academic community has played a role in reducing scandals and resolving scandals, or are they just a passive participant in general?
Look, academics have a role in this. More in the side of is the side of how to cope with, how to refrain scandals. Because, for instance, here you are talking about kind of benchmarking in education. How to refine, how to use the benchmarking statistical for education or for health, for the health systems in Brazil. We can't do this in a scandal-based political debate. It's impossible to talk about benchmarking, talk about all statistics we need in order to do something in the educational realm in this political climate. Okay, so I think the point is we can't continue with this climate of scandals. It hurts all the possibilities for the country. Okay. So something of Barbara, I think it's important. I missed it in the first explanation, which is the Judas for Lula as a Judas and Lula as a hero. Culture, of course. Look, one of the byproduct of those scandals is a kind of contemporary mythology, which is the way as scandals endures. Okay, the scandals trigger this mythology, and this mythology make the subjects of scandals, the figures of the scandals are retained in the Brazilian culture. So it's completely understandable why someone Lula is a Judas or hero. It's part of the mess. Okay, it's completely understandable by this kind of theory. The scandal produces mythology, and the mythology stay. Okay.
Depends on who wins, which mythology survives.
Look, mythology
For example, if someone finds
is a tricky problem, because we were talking about mythology or contemporary mythology. Okay, so let's tell you. in my view, it's very important. When you say Lula is a hero, and your opponent say Lula is a Judas, is a traitor, is a robber baron, okay? We are saying, in a way, we are saying the same thing. What are you saying? We are saying we are creating a space of meaning, okay? Which feed the mythology. The God for one is the devil for the other. The devil for this one, the God for this one, the devil for the other. What happens as a whole? We build a space of meaning, which is a space of meaning for this scandal. This scandal remains, okay? So the trickiest thing is that, in my view, the formation of this mythology make something of permanent. The scandals became a field, okay?
So we have about 5 minutes left. Eric had to go take a call, which is why he left. But why don't we just have a conversation now? People want to.
But look, so just a thing. Daniel Dantas in the jail. Daniel Dantas is a hero of the Barão de Nepomuceno. Okay, it's unimpeachable. Okay, okay, it's impossible to take him. He's a high clerk for excellence. Okay, we can't in this framework we can't reach Daniel Dantas. Okay, it's a clear example of that.
More comments?
Yeah, on your last slide, you have just jump over there. You said that maybe which was it?
Not this one.
Processo civilizatório. Are you saying that a processo civilizatório could be something that breaks the synchrony?
Yeah, it's possible. We find new cognitive conventions that the new vanish the form. It's how it works. I'm talking about Mary Douglas framework. Okay?
So, I don't know, my interpretation is that we don't have in our culture the notion that, if you do something wrong, you go to jail. That's why the synchrony is happening. Everyone's like, we'll do everything wrong, but nothing happens. There's no consequences. So, in a sense, we're saying that we don't have this idea that we should be punished.
Nowadays we have.
Yeah, sorry.
Nowadays
But
people are.
that's also relative. I mean, in a situation of polarization, you decide who goes to jail. In our situation in the United States, we have a polarization, and a black guy who steals something needs to go to jail, but a Wall Street banker doesn't.
Right.
I mean, they're both guilty. One goes to jail, the other doesn't. It's because we have this power play between two forces. We have the high clergy and the low clergy here, and the low clergy take the brunt of it. It's not a matter of are they really guilty or not. It's a matter of who has the power to decide who's going to go to jail.
In this perspective, you think that trying to get to the myth, it's a mistake from in this battle?
I don't think we can sort out this as an individual. Okay.
No, I'm talking about sociology, about the framework. Because what is happening is that now they are trying to get the myth, Lula. And this might be a mistake in the theory because he's a myth.
Okay. As a myth, something it's difficult to how to say, to vanish the myth.
Yeah, that's why.
It already became a myth. Difficult.
That's why I'm asking.
Difficult to vanish the thing. I think it will be like Vargas. Okay? Like Vargas, like Conselheiro, like the heroes for part of the people. in the past. Something like that. Lula will remain as a figure like that, as Vargas or Conselheiro, for part of the people, kind of hero. Another part of the people, normally in the wealth classes, someone to be blamed for all the sins of the country. Okay, I think this is that. But we have already in place this methodology. Okay, it remains. Whatever we will do, we will have in the future. The methodology remains. That's in my view, is something unavoidable. Okay, we have this methodology. We already have this. Okay, so we can count of the last 10 or 20 years. We will remember Lula. Whatever, even if you go to the prison. Okay.
So we have 2 minutes left. So Bobby,
I asked a question before that you weren't able to answer. And the question is what you started with, why now? And I asked a question.
Why now? Why now? Why now?
I asked a question specifically because you make a distinction between
Lula and
26
Cardoso.
and today. You said that, the Mensalão didn't have the kind of unified approach that you have today. And I'm curious, is it the magnitude of the scandal? Is it a new configuration of power? Or what explains now the fact that the scandal is so big?
What we have now, we have this synchrony, what we didn't have, we don't have before.
But why?
Why? Because the how to say, the fragility of government. My view is that how to say, they lost govern and the supporters of Workers' Party lost the shield they had. Which was the part of high clergy they once had as supporters. Okay, that's the question, in my view. We can refine this explanation, but the basic thing is that. Okay, in the book I tried the length of 30 pages, something, but Terion expresses that. Okay, right. Okay, something is that. Problem is simple.
Following commodity prices also helps, it seems to me. If you look at Lula's reign, the commodity prices went up until 2011, and now they're down 30 to 35%, and that's all Dilma.
Look. I think, of course, it's some kind of big stage of all that mess. But I think with this bad configuration, with the real crisis, even with a good economic situation, we will be reversed by this crisis. The crisis is something else. It's like a earthquake. Okay, it's a social earthquake. Once in place, destroys everything. Okay, even a particularly good economic situation. Okay, in my view, but of course, something to be thinking.
Okay, let's thank Roberto for that really provocative talk about the future.